There is a photo studio in Los Angeles built to look like the cabin of a private jet that rents for about $35 an hour. No plane, no runway. Just velvet seats, fake window light, and a few props. People book it, shoot for an hour, and walk out with weeks of content that says they fly private. That studio is not the scam. It is the tell. The same playbook that stages a grounded jet also rents the supercar, fakes the dashboard, and buys the followers. And almost all of it points at one thing it wants you to do: pay. So we opened the file on how to spot fake wealth on a course storefront. Start with why the flex exists, because the economics are the whole story. A luxury lifestyle is not proof of a working method. It is a marketing cost, and a cheap one. A Lamborghini that signals millions can be rented starting around $1,000 a day. And most creators book it for a few hours, shoot, and bank weeks of footage. The fake jet cabin runs about $35 an hour. Other services will Photoshop you onto a yacht for $150. So the cost of looking rich runs from tens to a few $100s. Set that against what they sell, courses and coaching from a few hundred to tens of thousands, and the math is brutal. The lifestyle is not the result of the product. It is the advertisement for it. When the props are this cheap and the offer this expensive, displaying wealth is the highest return line item in the budget. Now look closely at the props because each one has a signature. The rented supercar is rarely shown moving, rarely with plates that trace to the owner, and rarely twice in the same setup because it goes back to the lot the next morning. The mansion is often a weekend rental, or worse, a stock image lifted from a listing site. The watch is often leased or a replica, filmed in soft focus so the dial never resolves. And the jet may be a windowless room with a price list. None of these objects is illegal to own or rent. The deception is the implication, the unstated claim that the object is evidence. A real operator who earned the car has no reason to hide the plate or a second angle. The faker does because the prop has to leave by checkout. That asymmetry is your first forensic lever. Real wealth is comfortable being verified. Staged wealth is allergic to detail. The most persuasive prop is not the car. It is the income screenshot. The striped dashboard, the bank balance, the green numbers climbing. And it is the easiest to fake, which is exactly why it works. There is now a cottage industry of free generators that produce pixel-perfect stripe-style revenue charts. Type a starting and ending number, pick a growth curve, and download a clean image of revenue that never existed. But the faker often does not even need a tool. Open the real dashboard, right-click, choose Inspect, and edit the numbers directly in the page. The edit never touches the company's database. It changes only the pixels on your screen. Film a 30-second walkthrough, refresh, and the evidence vanishes. That is why a dashboard screenshot, even a screen recording, is worth almost nothing as proof. It documents what someone typed into a browser, not what landed in their account. Then there are the student results, the testimonial wall, the before and after, the chat screenshots from people who supposedly changed their lives. This is where the law enters. The Federal Trade Commission's Consumer Reviews and Testimonials rule took effect on October 21st, 2024, and it bans the fakery outright. The rule prohibits fake reviews, including ones written by artificial intelligence, fabricated celebrity testimonials, insiders posing as customers, and the suppression of honest complaints. It also bans buying and selling fake social media indicators, purchased followers, likes, and views that manufacture the look of an audience. Knowing violations can draw civil penalties of roughly $51,700 each, and the agency has already begun sending warning letters. So a wall of unverifiable testimonials beside a follower count that does not match its engagement is not just marketing, it may be conduct the government has formally outlawed. Beyond the props and the reviews sits the claim itself, the number in the headline. Earn $10,000 a month. Replace your salary in 90 days. Here the regulatory backdrop is older and firmer. Under long-standing law, it is a deceptive practice to make an objective earnings claim without a reasonable basis, competent, reliable evidence at the moment you make it. And the agency wants that proof honest about cost. A real claim must account for what participants spend as well as earn, with ad budget, tools, and fees subtracted out. The Commission has even proposed a new rule that would force sellers to keep written substantiation for every earnings claim and hand it to any consumer who asks. So here is a free legal stress test before you pay. Ask for the typical result, not the top result with expenses included. A legitimate operator can produce it. because the law already expects it on file. A faker will dodge, deflect, or vanish because the number was never anchored to anything. It is tempting to treat all of this as harmless theater. The numbers say otherwise. When the Federal Trade Commission and its partners launched their crackdown on deceptive income schemes, consumers had already reported losing more than $610 million over a few years. And the cases the agency actually pursued had collectively pulled over $1 billion out of people's pockets. This is not a few influencers posing in a rented car. It is an industry with a real body count in dollars, and the playbook keeps upgrading. The newest wave wraps the same promise in artificial intelligence, the automated store, the supercomputer that prints money while you sleep. And in one such case, regulators found most buyers earned little or nothing despite spending tens of thousands. The set dressing evolves. The structure underneath does not. So here is the checklist, 4 tells ranked by how reliably they predict a fake. First, the verification test. Does the wealth survive a detail? Reverse image search the mansion and lifestyle shots and check whether the supercar ever appears moving with traceable plates in more than one setting. Recycled stock photos and one-angle props are the strongest signal. Second, the proof test. Treat every income screenshot as worthless until proven otherwise, because inspect element and free generators make them trivial to fake. Demand a third party the seller cannot edit, a tax document, or a verified payout. Third, the audience test. Does the follower count match the engagement or smell bot? The tactic the FTC now expressly bans. Fourth, the claims test. Ask for written substantiation of the typical result, expenses subtracted. A real operator passes all 4 without flinching, while a faker fails the first. Looking closely is the thing the staging exists to prevent. Real wealth invites inspection. Rented wealth runs. That's the red.